Hello, it's Debbie Dubicus here and welcome to today's consultation. Today's consultation is going to involve loss and grief, but it's more losing someone through suicide. And this personally touches my heart as I know several of my clients that's lost loved ones through suicide. And I myself lost someone many years ago that meant a lot to me. So I want to begin with by saying whether you lose someone through suicide or accidents or ill health, every one of us goes through a sense of loss in some way, some heartache, some pain. And when clients come and see me and talk to you on the phone, first of all, I explain that I'm not a licensed mental health counsellor. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and as a clinical hypnotherapist, I come from the heart, the subconscious, the emotional part of us. When they book to come and see me, our first session, whether it be online or whether it be in person in my office, is very much giving them the open space of being. There's no judgment, you can't do anything wrong. It's a safe space to just be, to feel, to cry, to get angry with God, to feel confused, to be angry with themselves, to be heartbroken, to be confused. It doesn't matter. It's an open space to just be, to feel, to cry, to scream. And once we connect with each other, we then discuss whatever my client wants to discuss. And I'll give you an example. I worked with a woman a few years ago. She and her husband had a relatively good marriage, a happy marriage, a couple of children. And over a session in those days, going back, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, he had lost his business, and financially they were picking themselves up, but he had really been kind of down about that. And according to his wife, she thought everything was getting better. And the previous night they had made love. In the morning he'd taken the children to school and she went to go and get her grocery shopping. When she came home, she went in the house and knew he was there. His car was in the driveway. Shouted his name, no answer. Went up to the bathroom, and found that he'd shot himself with his own gun. It was devastating. Our first session was all about her guilt. She was so guilty. Why didn't she know? Why didn't she know something was wrong? And we worked on that guilt, because under that guilt was the anger she had for herself at not predicting. How could she predict this? And not preempting that something was wrong. How could she have known this? And we worked through that because she was programmed to feel guilty and angry with herself before it even happened. It was something that she blamed herself for many months. Working together, she let go of that guilt and accepted that no matter what happened or what she could have done or didn't do or should have done, wasn't going to make any difference. Her husband had his own issues deep down, his own hurt and pain, his own fears, and no matter what she did, the children did, or anyone did, it was a matter of time before the pain inside him got too much. Just one example. Another example is the accidental suicide that I've worked with clients. And they'll call me and say, I saw my daughter last week, she was fine, she was depressed, but everything was fine. But it was the medication. We just didn't realise she was so unhappy within herself, within her life. And what happened then was she had over-medicated, taken more medication than was meant to be. And her parents both came to see me. They were devastated. What could we have done to stop that? Why didn't they pick up on that? Why weren't they the best parents? Why didn't her daughter come to them? The amount of anger they had, but not just with themselves, with God. How could God take such an innocent, beautiful life? And we worked on that spiritual aspect in a totally different way of dealing with their own loss. And by dealing with their loss, I worked on had they really lost anything. Because when they had their time with their daughter, they haven't lost the memories are there. But what they've lost is her future. But that loss never happened yet. So we worked on what was really losing here. Yes, the pain and the suffering of the pain inside them. And believe it or not, we worked on that as being a healthy, selfish way, if you like, that they were really missing the time of her not being here in the future that hadn't even arrived yet. It was what they were missing. But they then discovered that the daughter had her own pain, and a deep, deep pain inside that she was suffering quietly. She was quite confident in her work and her life, and they would never have suspected anything. But to suddenly lose her was heart-wrenching for them. I worked with another client, an elderly couple, elderly in their 70s, shall I say, elderly, maybe prime years, but they were devastated because their son was murdered. They were murdered outside a restaurant. He was mixed in a drug deal that went wrong. He was nothing to do with this, but he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. We worked together, both his mother and father, because again, he was meant to go to them for dinner that night, and they cancelled on him. So he'd went out for dinner, saw something not quite right outside, went to his car to get his cell phone, and he was shot. This was tragic to them because so much recognition of what a wonderful son that they had, and the achievements he'd made, and how he was good with them, and he was married, children, but the pain inside them, that if only I had done, if only. We had a few sessions together for them to really acknowledge what a wonderful being, a wonderful son he was, and to acknowledge that. And then we worked on living the change. I'm not a believer about, it'll get better with time. I don't really believe that. I say we accept the change over time. It's a change in not having the physical presence of someone. If you would like to work with me on, not letting go, but being fully present and feeling anything you want to feel, whether it be online or whether it be in person in a session in my Tampa office, but just to offload and to allow yourself to start the transformation period of accepting the new change. Having the spiritual presence, yes, speaking, praying, connecting, talking to your loved ones that's passed over, but accepting that the physical presence is no longer here, then please get in touch with me. You can call me on my cell phone, 813-992-3330, or you can contact me through my email, debbiedebickus@gmail.com. Thank you. Bye.